are out in the garage, or what's left of it. It's consumed by all kinds of stuff, holiday things out here, and so forth. So, what we're going to attempt to do is we're going to prime these vehicles here and just chat while we're at it. So, let's assume the position of the body cavity search gloves. That helps clean up quite a bit. All right, and let's put the little fan, even though it's probably the warmest it's been in a long time. Can't really airbrush when it's freezing, but we've got a little bit of a crosswind going, blowing all the stuff over here, even though we're using very small amounts of material. I'm going to set up our Iwata HPCS airbrush, and we're going to use the Vallejo black primer, which I know is backwards. I don't know why. I don't know how to turn that screen around. So I'm not smart enough for that. I'm just a stupid painter. All right, so we're going to fire this thing up. And there's got to be some kind of a beverage over here. Not an adult beverage. We do want to get something to come. Spreads are over. And we'll use these little clippies here, which I am a big fan of. I always say I should get more. And we've got all kinds of stuff. These are all 3D prints. All of them, all except the Crusader. And let's make sure that we have secure on here. We don't want this thing falling and hitting the ground. There's no telling what would happen. Nothing good is going to come from that. All right, do you have a spare lid somewhere? I will shortly when I'm finished with that drink, so we'll just do that last. We're almost done with this thing? We're almost done with this thing. Okay, this should work. We'll put this on here, and then we'll put this turret like so. This blue tack stuff works great. Annika Rakova, welcome. Yeah, I don't know what it is about putting a vertical live feed. I get more people watching it. So I guess I should do all my videos like this. But for whatever reason, it attracts a lot of people. I don't know whether they're interested in the hobby though, but welcome anyways. Ariel, welcome. Greetings from Florida. Greetings from extremely gray Florida. It is the Sunshine State, but not today. And this German half-track, see if we can clip this somewhere that's not going to be in the way. Maybe here. And we'll move that as we go along. Same problem with Matilda. We got a couple of Matildas here that... Do I do 3D printing for my figures? I do not. I am a painter only. I do have access. If you're in the United States, there is a guy who does all the 3D printing for me, and he does absolutely gorgeous work. He is called Chad, and he's with Iron Horse Collectibles. He doesn't sponsor me or anything, but he does incredible work. And this is all 1/72nd scale. He's actually set up to do 1/56th. Or 28 mil stuff, and I talked him into doing 1/72nd. So, because I don't do 28 millimeter, I started doing this hobby well before 28 millimeter was a thing. So, I'm not going to rebuy everything, So, it saves a lot of money. He's got really good prices, but the main reason I 3D print is because there's things that just aren't available. Let's take this for instance, okay? This is all World War II stuff. This is a Matilda tank. If I want to get this Matilda tank in 1/72nd scale, I don't have a lot of options. I don't have a lot of people don't make this. I don't know why. I mean, the Airfix one is a 1/76 scale and it's old, and you got this track that's out of print or whatever. The one from the from Eschi is also out of print. Okay, and it's like $24 for one particular tank, and if you need four of them, that's a lot of freaking money. Plus you have to assemble them, which I don't necessarily have a problem doing, but it does take up time. And you know what? They don't look as good as this. This is absolutely gorgeous. Now he is the printer. This particular one is designed by Wargame 3D, which I think they're out of England or Britain, and but he's the only one that I found that'll 3D print and resin in the United States, and he does an excellent job, and his turnaround is quick, and and we've got some plastic models as well. Marcus, welcome back. I need to get with you. Tomorrow might be a good day to do a live session, a Zoom call, if that works for you. My people will contact your people, and then, yeah, my people, me. I don't have an entourage, thankfully. Flip this, add this little guy on there as well. But he does a great job. He's printed stuff for Marcus as well. And yeah, I was just waiting for you to stop coughing. I don't want to be like, how you doing? Hey, I've had a coughing attack before. They're not fun. True, I guess it'll be too big or small without proper scaling. Yeah, he handles all that stuff. I'm just a painter and markings researcher. I do the parts that I like to do. I don't have the setup for that. I do everything other than that. So, what else we got? I think we'll just switch this thing out when we're done priming this one. So, all right, so we're running this let's pump this up to about 40 PSI. Well, why is it so damn high? Well, this stuff is super thick. Okay, and there's two needles. I want to make sure we use the right one, which I'm guilty of always using the wrong one, like I'm doing now. You want to use a 0.5 needle. This airbrush is great, but it comes with a 0.35 needle. And you got to buy the 0.5 basically so you can run thicker paint through it. And I'm probably going to run into some issues like I always do, and we'll probably still get it to work. Okay. So we got this thing assembled again. And we will try it. We'll test to make sure everything's working okay with our cleaner, which we made ourselves. Now, if you're new to airbrushing, and there's one thing I can tell you, well, two things I can tell you. Don't make any fucking plans. You don't know how long this is going to take. But don't go and buy one of these things to clean it with. It costs $30. Go get yourself a milk jug or something like that and just spray in there. It's free. There's nothing worse than spending a lot of money on something that you're going to end up looking like freaking something a chimney sweep would want to have his way with. So just make sure everything is working correctly before we start adding a little bit thicker paint. Okay, so we're out here. There's probably other primers you can use. This is just the one I use. And the reason I like this stuff is because I started off hand painting with it. And it literally goes everywhere. And I don't mean like it makes a mess. I mean, it works its way into everything and it's self-leveling. So this is almost like thinned down enamel. And I don't use enamel because it's just too freaking toxic for my taste. But if you like enamel, that's fine. We're just going to put a little bit, make sure it's working okay. We don't want to commit and have to clean the whole thing out and waste the stuff. And we're going to use this little square here to make sure it's doing its thing just fine. Come on. That's it. Just thin like that. And no, I don't use a mask. I got a fan blowing this way. And I use very little. But if you want to use a mask, go right ahead. Messages held for review. Uh-oh. Is somebody misbehaving? Come on, you guys know better than that. We're all adults here. What message do we have? Oh, we can show this. Another moderator just handled this. Well, what the hell does that mean? I started to talk about locked and loaded and my internet took a shit. Really? We can say things like that. We're all adults and we're not crazy people. I hope not. Okay, so just really thin like this. Okay, and this is probably gonna jam. Okay? And that's okay. You'll see mistakes here. So we're just going to just lightly go over this. And I'm going to run out of this stuff quick. And I only loaded it with very, very little. I loaded it with so little that I'm already out. Right? No, there's still stuff in there. So it was blowing great and it just stopped. What's our PSI? This stuff is a little difficult to deal with compared to any other paint. Oh no, wait a second. I am getting it. I'm just getting it really, really light. It's almost too light. Thank you. I thought it was a threat. We don't need this. This has been a safe place. Everywhere I go has always been safe, even before AI was created. We don't need Big Brother here. Okay, there we go. All right. YouTube moment. Yeah, I hope Penny Panzers gets his freaking channel back. He got his entire channel, like, removed. And that guy's like a nice guy. He's like a super nice guy. He's a lot nicer than I am. There we go. Some people claim you can run thinner with this stuff. I don't want to do it. It is a different material completely than regular paint. That's why it behaves so different than regular paint. You know what we are going to do is we're going to open this up. Got to have a backup these days. I don't know how to do that. I'm a painter. I'm not even like, don't learn any tips from this. I'm like handicapped when it comes to this stuff. You know, if you see my painting sessions, that I'm a master at. This, no, I'm handicapped. But you get to see some mistakes that probably all you guys are making and how to solve them. I've been able to solve everything, so. Okay, now we're out. I've only been doing this for a couple of years. I've been doing the other painting for 40 years. So, just that'll, there we go. Let's just open this up a little bit more. Okay? So I even did it in the wrong order. I normally do the underneath part first, but it not working throws me off. Let's turn this up. Okay. This is the first day that it's actually not been too cold to airbrush. I'm still wearing shorts, so it's not too cold for me. Why do I prime black? Always have. Oh, okay. Why is this dripping off the end? All right. See? I told you there was going to be issues. All right. Where is paper towels? It's always something. always something. Yeah, I got paint on the floor. Like, really? Come on. Okay, well, here's my opportunity to tell you my greatest invention is hand sanitizer. It takes care of all this. I'd rather not make mistakes in the first place, but, you know. All right. I don't want this garage having a bunch of black spots in it. It looks stupid. Now, why is there a drippage issue coming, considering I cranked down on this thing like crazy? All right, let's close this thing back up then. Let's close it back where it normally is, where it normally operates. And you know, if you give up, the airbrush wins. And we can't, yeah, it's spraying fine. That's why I said you can't make any plans. Because somebody who doesn't make any mistakes, or maybe the people that are doing videos, this shit happens to them anyways as well. They're just not man enough to show you. I'm just lazy to edit all this stuff out. You know, I don't mind showing what I'm doing, but if it creates a lot of extra work for me, I'm like, well, we're not going to do that. Yeah, so we just have a thin coat on there. And we don't need to stack these things up here. Another thing that works really good. Thank you for inventing sanitizer. You've saved many lives. Well, for this, it was by accident. You know, I'm sure somebody else came up with it. And you're also in Florida, rarely gets in the 30s. Man, I wish it was in the 30s all the time. Thanks, Sumper, man. Appreciate it. This is another thing that's really handy. The styrofoam, it's a pain in the ass, right? So what you do is, if you got them on these things, just stuff them in there. I think that's in screen. Yeah. That's actually how we have this stuff. Everybody's like, oh, I gotta buy the COVID stuff. So we had all this extra sanitizer. I'm like, I wonder what this does on paintbrushes. I'm like, oh my God, it freaking takes all the paint off. Like, you know, amazing. I can't keep that to myself. I gotta share that with people. It could save lives. Has hand sanitizer actually saved lives? Like for what it's supposed to be used for? Come on, you're just being a little dick today, aren't you? Well, it's spraying really small. Where are you like that way when I'm doing tank camouflage? Just pull it in just a tiny smidge. Now let's see how we're doing. Maybe it's too cold. Dryer sheets. Oh man. Dryer sheets were good for taking love bugs off and mosquitoes, but we've stopped using them. My wife is ordained, we don't buy those things anymore. I'm like, okay, yes ma'am. We got a dryer now that dries things way too fast. This is kind of watery, which is really... Did I not mix this properly? I get all excited about talking to you guys, and then... Dryer sheets with sanitizer. I don't know why that wouldn't be a great idea. I think that sounds great. You may be onto something. One guy claimed, oh, rubbing alcohol works just as good. So I tried it on a live session. It doesn't. Maybe I wasn't holding my mouth right. Come on. And somebody might, one of these days I'm going to actually try a different, I'm going to try a different primer, for airbrush. And I may be onto something. Because this thing likes to misbehave sometimes. Oh, there you go. Do it. Do it now. There we go. Now keep it going. Sure, we'll do this. Don't use dryer sheets anymore since the 2019 incident. It's a long story. All right, we got time. Well, I see it didn't kill you. Did it make you stronger? An incident with dryer sheets. Well, the only thing I didn't like about dryer sheets is they're always like in your way. You find them in places you don't want them at. And I don't mean anything kinky. I just mean like, they're always like, they're like those plastic bags. Like I don't like going to the grocery store and using the plastic bags because you have them at home and then what do you do with them? They're just in your way of every single thing else that you do. Plus they're like just flimsy as crap. Okay, now we're running okay. But not a lot is coming out and yet it's at 45 PSI. Something's odd afoot. Anyways, this is what I suck the most at. Airbrushing the primer coat. And taking pictures. I don't take pictures well. Oh, there we go. I got a little bit better light. Oh, it sucks for you guys though. Hold on. Maybe that's better. Okay, that's a lot better for me. We'll try to hold my mouth right this time. You just want it like a thin dusting. It's really only so that the paint has something to adhere to. Now, some people have sworn, and I believe them, that you don't need primer with plastic models. But I don't care if I need primer with plastic models. I need to have black as my starting canvas. Black is my canvas. There we go. Maybe it just needs to get lubed up on the inside or something. Anyway, so Iron Horse Collectibles is the name of this site. If you go on there, his pricing is basically for 28 millimeter. So you can just say, hey, listen, I saw your stuff and I want it. Can you print this to me in another scale? Which is what I did. He'll give you a quote. He has like 10 different designers on there, and he does really good work. Really, really good work. So, and like I said, he was the only person I could find that would resin print in the U.S. Because the problem with getting it printed outside the U.S. is the shipping is just brutal. It would just eat you alive. Or like, you'd have to order like $200 worth of stuff to make it make sense. And that's just too much, Mountains of Virginia. Yeah, I believe Marcus is actually from somewhere more south than where I'm from. Like, I'm from the South, but I'm not Southern. I think Marcus is more Southern than me. Marcus, are you more Southern than me? And you know what I mean by that. I bet you are. Which means you're really out of place in New York City. By the way, did you meet your wife in Virginia and bring her to New York, or you met her in New York? And don't get me wrong, I love to visit New York, but then I like to leave, You're from Michigan. Yes, you have plenty of country mouse in New York City stories. Fievel it is. I've never seen that before. I love skyscrapers. I think it's fascinating. I've always been fascinated with it as a kid. Michigan. I bet you guys have a ton of snow right now, I bet. Well, I'm off until like the 2nd of January, so we're going to do a lot of live shit. So, you met your wife who was from Shanghai at work in New York a long time ago. Okay, so she was used to that living. Okay, we got this SDKFZ 10 done. This is going to be the next thing I'm probably going to do. I'm probably going to do this guy next. You know. One of the crooked coconut gang. All right, nope. Take my own advice. Boom, up here. All you need to know is that one sheet is enough for one load, because when you use the whole damn box, there's complications. It could be a fire hazard. Now that I think about it, it's like a weird material. But okay. Who's next? The A10, and it doesn't say this on the site. This is an A10 close support tank. Actually, that was the first thing that I told them. I was like, hey, they should make one with a 2-pounder turret. They do now. You're welcome. I'd love to do quality control for people. Like, hey, it'd be good to, if you guys made this, or, you know, these instructions are wrong, or that kind of stuff. But so the close support can fire HE, but the main reason that these guys were in the squadrons, they're usually in the headquarters squadron, was to fire smoke. So instead of, you know, hey, there's a pack there, there's an anti-tank gun, we need to silence it by killing it, they're just fire smoke at it and then just go a different direction. You know, or fire smoke on it, I guess, and close on it and then encircle it. I guess that would work as well, but you got to move quick before that smoke dissipates. You only use up to 3. Okay, Marcus, there is no snow. That's up north. You're on the Detroit borderline. Really? Look out, duck! I've never been to Michigan. I haven't avoided it. It just haven't been there. I didn't see snow for the first time until I was in my late 40s. Because I traveled places where it snowed, but, you know, I just assumed that it's cold, it's going to snow, but it's the same thing as rain. You know, it's like the conditions have to be right. You know? It'd be like traveling to Florida in the wintertime and like never seeing rain. Well, that's when it never rains here. But snow for us is like traveling to another planet. It's just something weird. It's just something like, I'm fascinated by it. I don't want to shovel any of it. You can have that. I don't want it the day off and have to do extra work that Mother Nature decides to throw on you just because, you know, she's a cruel bitch. You know, I'm not interested in that. But it is beautiful. Okay, there's the turret for the A10 done. I guess we burped it. Oh, stay humble until you've won. Okay. Next one is, we got the, I guess we'll reuse this thing. That's not true. I found in the garbage that I did not throw away. Because I'm a Coke addict. Coke Zero. Make sure we got enough of a grippage on this. Just don't go to no man's land, you might get mugged. I know. If you're ever in, you know, if you're ever somewhere and you're wondering, I don't know if I'm in the right place, you're probably not in the right place. Okay? That's like, you know, that's like a foregone conclusion. Like, get out of there. When you use that many, not only does it clog up your dryer, but it puts this fuzzy stuff all over your clothes and it catches fire very easily. You do the math. Yeah, you don't want to, especially if you're doing your clothes with your girlfriend or whatever. She's probably going to be really pissed at you. You know, I just buy the t-shirts, you know, if I have to. You know, girls like, oh, I don't make that thing anymore. You know, they freak out, you know, so. Okay, are we secure enough? Because we don't want this guy falling off. We don't want this guy falling off. Okay, we're good. All right. Queen of the desert. I always like when people ask me, what's your favorite tank? I don't have one. I really don't. I like most of them. How I caught fire. I plead the fifth. I was the one that caught fire. Oh, really? Well, you're supposed to put the fire out of the clothes before you put them on. Wait a second. You weren't like in the dryer or something like that. No. I've seen that video, but it was a girl. No, I haven't seen that video, but. Oh, man. Well, you won't do that again, you know? I had the dumbest thing I've ever done, and it was unintentional, is I fell asleep at the wheel. We won't be doing that again. That's actually more dangerous, driving sleepy than driving intoxicated. Well, it depends how intoxicated. They're both a bad idea, but we won't do that again. And that was coming back from a game convention where I had been popping coffee, the whole thing. Your body just freaking shuts down. I had gotten plenty of sleep at the convention, but when it's time to go night-night, your body just shuts down and you're effed. So, but that won't happen again, you know? You're not that small. I think that's small in Norwegian. I know I'm a mantlet, but those antics are beneath me. Yeah, driving sleepy that won't happen again. And it's funny because I don't do crazy shit when I'm behind the wheel, but I was too dedicated. My plane was supposed to arrive at 8 in Orlando, and I was going to drive an hour and a half back home. Instead, it arrived at 12:30. And I'm like, I got to make it back to the rest area. Make it to the rest area. I didn't make it to the rest area. So. You don't have a favorite tank, just like you don't have a favorite DBA army when you used to play. Correct? Because there's just too many of them that are cool. There's just too many of them that are cool. I don't even have a least favorite tank. Because there's so many that I dislike. Now, there's just, everything is cool. And I've always been a person that I don't dislike something just because it's junk. Okay? Because as someone who's creative, the most important thing is that it looks cool, or that you enjoy painting it, or when you're done, that, it has interesting camouflage or paint jobs or whatever. And almost everything falls into that category. There's few things that are like just basically have no hope. That you're like, well, we just need to do something different because there's nothing saving this thing. Yeah, I don't have a DBA army. I don't have a favorite DBA army. My surprise favorite DBA army, in other words, I have it, and I really grew to love it after playing it, and it was kind of a surprise that I grew to love it, was my Irish. But I just have so much fun playing the damn Irish. "5'5" gang. You 5'5"? You seem like there's no way you're 5'5". There's no way you're 5'5" because you seem like too nice a guy. My dad was 5'3", 5'4". I'm almost a foot taller than my dad. So you're tiny. Okay. Well, you seem like a nice guy. the problem isn't whether you're big or you're little. The problem is if you have an attitude about the size that God made you, or the size you turned out. And there's just some things that you can't fix no matter what you do. We all have them. Everybody has something, and you don't get to pick what it is, and you just got to laugh about it. And if you got a chip on your shoulder about whatever that thing is, then you're going to be bitter. So and that's why adults, they can be cool like that. Kids, if you're small or short or whatever, I mean, I don't know what issues you have, but it's a lot more difficult being happy when you're in middle school than you are as an adult. You don't like something. I there's stuff I don't like all the time. Like, see that over there? I don't like it. I go this way, right? When you're in middle school or something like that, you're fucking stuck with these people, and there's no way to get away from them. You know. Um, so you made peace with my stature, just like I made peace with my baldness when I turned 30. Everybody has that. Everybody has that. If you're a dude, I had a friend who we used to call the Jolly Leprechaun. He had the best vibes ever and an all-around free spirit. Always had a lady with him too. Yeah. Now, if you're really short, let me ask you a question. If you're really short, I don't think 5'5" is really short, but let's say you're a short guy. Do you get pissed off when you see some girl that's 5 foot tall and some guy's like 6'4" goes for her? Like, come on, man, you got like the pick of the litter. Why are you messing with my ladies? Because I can tell you, guys always like girls, even at the little. My daughter says all the time, "Oh, I'm tiny." I'm like, "You're 5'2" and a girl. Like, that's like an okay size." Me, that big guy messing with our girls. Why don't you? I hope you bump your head every time you get in a car. You know. I had a guy that used to game on the circuit. He's a pain in the ass. He's a pain in the ass when he won. He's a pain in the ass when he lost. You know. He must have just had a miserable existence, and he had to make up for it on the game table. And everybody's trying to win, and you're only going to win about half the time. So, prepare to be disappointed if that's the attitude you have. But this guy would just like ruin the gaming experience for everybody. And there's not too many people that I could say, I'm glad I don't have to play with that person anymore. But fortunately, it's less than six. But there's just some people that are just like, they're miserable and they want to make everybody else miserable. You know? And it's like not in jest. I mean, it's like that's how they seriously are. Like, I don't want to play games with people like that. Well, we're no longer in the lady business now for decades now, and glad. And some people are like, man, I'd sure like to go out with some gaming girl. I'm like, not me. I'm glad my girl's not into anything that I'm into. I've said that before. Like, what's the quality that your significant other would have that you would find absolutely intolerable? For me, it would be like, would want to argue with me about directions. I'm like, no. God put me on this earth to tell people where to go. That's like the one thing I'm good at. Oh, and here she is. All right, hold on one second, folks. Okay. Lower the door. Okay. Ah, yes, the garage monster. She's ripped the wall! Going to the grocery store. Okay, yeah. Ya basta. See the bullying as deflecting. Gaming girls sound good till you date one. Yeah, I probably wouldn't want that. Too many gamers are weird, man. I'm not talking about nerdy, man. Everybody's nerdy. Nobody believes me. Oh, sports jocks aren't. Yeah, they're freaking nerdy about how long somebody runs with a freaking turkey under their arm. Freaking sports nerd burglar. Go away. Yeah, there's some channels that have some ladies that do the wargaming stuff, and I'm like, man, you weird. But hey, whatever floats your boat, man. Although I really wish my wife would like to watch historical movies, even like ones that have kissy kissy stuff in them. And that's why they put that kissy kissy stuff in there. So her girlfriend will watch. Nope, not my wife. She's like, she tunes out. Nope, I can't watch that. I won't watch it with you. Okay, waltzing Matilda is done. My girl plays D&D and shooters on the PS5. I don't think that makes her a gamer girl, though. Does she dress up to play D&D? Hey, whatever works for you. The only thing my wife will play is Diablo. She moved to town when Diablo 2 was out, couldn't find a job, ended up Diabloing all day long. So, I mean, she doesn't do that anymore, but she will play Diablo with me. That's it. And you know what? That's enough. That's just fine. Although it's best to let her win because she throws la chancla. And you know what I dislike? All the trash talking. Because I don't really want to interact with people online that I'm never going to meet. You know? Just a gamer, unless she has the whole streaming set up. Yeah. I mean, some of those girls are cute, but weird, man. Those cosplay girls. Hey, if you look like the character, that works, but you know, I don't want you. I don't want you, and you know, that'd be like fun for like a Halloween party or something like that, not to just go to stuff. I guess there's between people that like shows or video games too much and people that are like fans of like actors and stuff like that. Like, I don't want to meet, I've never like wanted to like meet somebody that's an actor, like Hollywood, you know? She stopped doing Twitch because of the weirdos. Huh. Yeah, I stopped playing live games with people because I didn't want to interact with people that were half the mature rating of the game. Like, when I grew up, I didn't get to play, I didn't get to watch rated R movies. I didn't have an older sibling or something like that to watch. Like, it's a 17-year-old plus. I didn't get to watch when I was 13. You know, grow up depraved and shit like that. But you'll play Grand Theft Auto. There's some, you know, there's some 3-year-old with, there's somebody that's 3 foot tall with a 6 foot mouth. You know, it's like, I don't want to listen to that. I'm not here to babysit you and cuss and stuff like that. You know, when I grew up, if you cussed at somebody, you might get your ass beat. And that kind of controls people, right? Not just like, you know, be able to say whatever the hell you want and nobody stands up to you. You know? Where'd I go? Man, I got a drinking problem. I went through another one. It's all non-alcoholic. I love to talk about drinking, but I never drink. I don't need it. I got this. I'll cuss a game out if I get frustrated, but never the person. Yeah, I don't like it when, you get frustrated and you have to play the same thing over again, or you have to replay something the millionth time. Like, that's like, I don't like boss fights. Or what's the term? Bullet sponges. Yeah. So if you're playing something like The Division, which I think is a great game, so you're running these bullet sponges, like, holy shit. But gaming's fun, but I don't think it's therapy. I think this is therapy. So your girlfriend did Twitch until the guys got too weird. What weird stuff did they do? Throw money at her? The weird was the big tips. I saw a stream where a dude left a $500 super chat begging for attention. How do these... Yeah, that's weird. That's weird, man. That's like dangerous. There's like something wrong with that person. Game's so complex, sophisticated, there's some hidden mechanics someone exploits. Yeah, so back in the day, Sega Genesis, baby, 1992. I didn't have one. I didn't have any money at that time. I had a friend of mine who had a Sega Genesis, which when it came out in 1992 was Le Bim. And he started a hockey league, playing NHL on the Sega Genesis. And everybody picked a team. I got the Penguins because I just wanted the logo. Penguins have a good logo, good colors. And we play our games. And, there was no LANs or anything like that. You couldn't play them online. You had to, meet people. And you turn in your scores, right? And these guys would exploit the game and have these scores that were 54 to 51. What the hell, man, money and bragging how they wait for her to start the stream. Things like that. Like creepy obsession type behaviors. Man, go get a girlfriend and then be creepy with her. Well, maybe not. You know what I mean? It's okay to be into, whatever it is that you're into. Everybody's into something. But it's like there's a big difference between being into some part of the body on some random person that you don't even see their face. Or is it being into that part of the body with the person that you care about? There's a big difference between the two things, Are there any woman stalkers? Nintendo 64, good lord, that's been a minute. I never liked Nintendo games because I'm like a pacifist every day. And I want to blow shit up, I'll go to a gas station, I see anybody smoking anywhere near the propane thing, and I'm like, I'm uneasy, I've killed hundreds of people with those things, First game I ever played was Zelda on Nintendo 64. That's when I first learned to spell your name. Man, you guys are spoiled. I guess you guys didn't buy any encyclopedias when you were kids. That's who really hates technology. Encyclopedia salesman. God, this is such a cool tank. I love the Crusader. I don't care that it broke down all the time. It looked good while doing it. The German shit broke down all the time. Okay, what do we got? The Crusader body? Ooh, you have the body of a Crusader. Ooh. I was going to a multi-stream, but then I got to pay for this, whatever this thing's called. And it just seems stupid to multi-stream and have to pay $40 a month. I'm like, I'm fine not making any money. Like, I don't do this for the money. I do this for the companionship. Look, I got used to working on my hobby with a real person, and it was a social activity. And that's what I got used to. And it forces me to stay on track a little longer. And you know what? This is a great hobby because, my wife knows where to find me. I'm here. So, but I don't want to pay $40 a month just to stream on other things to get other viewers. I don't think that there's another platform that has any kind of stuff, any kind of. I mean, I wish there was. I mean, Twitch is not this kind of stuff. It's just like video games and voyeurs, I guess. Do I build model cities with roads and buildings? So, I have made some dioramas that I play with because what motivates me is to play these games and they're always in these people in Britain that have these gorgeous looking playing areas. And I've started painting my buildings that I've had for like 30 years. And honestly, I think they turned out really, really well. So if you look at my channel, I've done a couple of games on that. They're I think, kind of hidden earlier this year. But that's probably the closest thing. I'm all for doing it, and I want them to look as good as they can. But they need to be playable. I don't want to just like, I don't want something that's like, Rod Stewart's, train layout that's gorgeous, but you can't do anything with it. It just sits there. I've done dioramas before, and it's like, okay, now what? So even though I don't game much with this, I still have the opportunity to game if I wanted to. It's with the intention of doing that. So, but there's lots of people that are perfectly happy doing dioramas. I wouldn't be. I want to be able to go vroom vroom, and like roll dice and blow things up and see all the really interesting narrative things that happen that are just so unlikely to happen, and they happen anyways. And it's just hilarious. He asked earlier if I ever served. No. I came close. I didn't know what I was going to do out of high school. And a buddy of mine was going to go in the Navy. And I'm like, okay, I'll go in the Navy. And because, I mean, my people are really good swimmers. Why not, right? I didn't have anything, I had no money. I wanted to have a car sometime in the next 10 years. I'm like, I got nothing to lose, right? And after going to MEPS 3 times, the first time because I had bad hearing as a kid. I had ear infections when I was a kid, and I had bad hearing, despite the music I listened to. And I got a waiver on that. I had to come back. Okay, you're going to ship out to boot camp on whatever day it was in 1992. 1991, 1992. It was one of those 2 years. And they didn't let me ship out because they found out I had psoriasis, which is, a skin disorder. And don't look at it on the internet because there is any disease or condition you may have, whatever is on the internet search is horrific. But regardless, that didn't allow me to serve. They didn't want me. So, that's it. So I tried, and, I think it's probably a good thing now that it didn't happen. And that's not being disrespectful to anybody that served. I'm just saying that, there's a lot of stuff that those guys go through that I'm glad I didn't have to go through it. So, and I'm also glad, I didn't have to go through boot camp and then you get kicked out, so I think that would have been probably the hardest thing I've ever had to deal with. Is just basically getting treated like dirt, I used to have a realistic flight simulator and loved that thing. Like the Mill Sims, was good at the Navy Sims, that flying sims. I kept crashing because I sucked at landing. So, one of you guys mentioned Grand Theft Auto. Okay, as a general rule, I'm a good flyer. As a general rule, um, and what's that game out this now? War Thunder. I ain't worth two shits flying. I don't know what it is about that game. I can't fly worth a damn. But Grand Theft Auto, I had a couple of people I used to play Grand Theft Auto 5 with, and I was the pilot. Um, and one of the other guys was really good at the helicopter. I got better at the helicopter, but I could do the planes. And the controls in Grand Theft Auto are fucked, as you know. They're glitchy. Like, let me go over a little bit. Whoa, too far. Whatever it is. Like, let me aim a little bit. They're super touchy. But for whatever reason, I was just good with the flaps and the rudder. And you got to use all that stuff together to fly. Or maybe I got lucky. But anyhow, yeah, I was the pilot in that. I was the person that could pilot the best in that. Let's put it that way. You went to National Guard just for the training. You let the instructor handle. Taking off is easy, landing, however. Yeah. I don't like real flight. Like, 1-to-1 scale, I don't do well on a plane because of turbulence. And it's also like you're tripping on drugs, I guess. I've never done drugs, so I'm just, guessing. It's just too surreal. It's just way too surreal. Like, what am I doing here? Is this really going on? Like, is this, it just really, I don't get airsick or anything. I look out the freaking window the whole time, but it's scary as shit, and I'm not worried about terrorism. I'm scared of the steel bird falling out of the sky. So, different people are scared of different stuff. I was traumatized by, accidents I heard in the news in the early 80s and stuff like that. And, I got traumatized by that stuff. I don't like going over bridges, same thing, I couldn't serve because of a bone deformity on your shoulder blades. An 80-pound backpack would turn me into a pretzel. Also, my heart was doing weird things. I don't know, they might take you now. I mean, if you were that same age, because now they're hurting for people. But I don't have anything against veterans. They just have a extremely thankless job. So there's a show that everybody recommended on me watching, and let's see if I can remember what the name of it is. It's the one with Chris Pratt in it, where he plays a Green Beret. The Terminal List or whatever. I started watching it, and I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch it because, if half of what is shown on that show really happens, I'm revolting. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, I can't watch stuff like that. So I'm definitely very pro-veteran, but I never served. So that's my and actually, nobody in my family has ever served. My dad was old enough to have been in the Second World War. He was just born in the country that wasn't in the Second World War. So, but it's a thankless job. I really don't know how people continue to have the stomach to be able to put up with it. I'm glad they do. I'm glad that people go and do stuff like that. And I'll hear like I said, nobody in my family's ever served. But if I hear that, if I'm somewhere where they're playing the national anthem, I almost get teary eyed. Those run sacks would have definitely done you in. Unfortunately, couldn't get your pilot's license because they were stealing from the school, so he sold the real planes. Huh. The recruiter back then said I would have been perfect for armor because I was short. Tall loaders catch hell in tanks, yeah. Are we almost done? We're almost done? Man. Good stuff. How long does this take? An hour? Yeah. You never know. This could have taken 3 hours. And that's with a kind of a false start. You see what happened? This thing was acting up, and then all of a sudden it's kind of straightened its little act out. I don't know what it is. It might have been the temperature. I don't know. It's not that cold in here. It's probably 60 maybe. It's just finicky. It's a completely different art form than hand painting. Oh, I'm an idiot. I know. Tell you something you don't already know. So when I was putting this thing together, see, I get so excited to talk to you guys. Like, I get to talk to somebody about the stuff that I give a shit about. Yay! When I assembled these, I actually didn't glue them, so that it would be easy to brush it. I forgot about it. Well, it's the only tanks that are this way. S model. Look, everything pops out. What a moron. Oh well. At least I admit I can make mistakes. That's better than most people. Hey, see, this is how I painted the other one. Like, hey, look, now you can get the air. Now you can airbrush in there. Are we out? We're nearly out. Especially with this color. And by the way, this is the hardest thing to airbrush because it's so thick. Everything else is much easier. It's 48 degrees here in South Carolina. You tired of people complaining about how cold it is? Because people in the South can't handle it. I mean, I can. I don't like how damn gray it was today. But this is the kind of weather I like being outside in. I mean, I don't mind being warm, but I'm going to be wet. Like at the pool or the beach or somewhere. Not just sweating for no reason. 39 degrees. That's great. I'd love to have a tank, even if it could no longer run, just to turn into a clubhouse for the boys. You see, there's this video floating around where this guy went and he built this person was of the Asian persuasion. And he built like this, it was like a Hetzer or something like that, out of like wood for his kid. Man, that would have been like phenomenal. You know? It would have been phenomenal. Imagine having like a little wooden Hetzer. Or anything, really. Heck, I just wanted that Guns and Navarone playset that I never got. I looked at that the other day and I'm like, why the hell would I have liked that? I mean, it's stupid. It doesn't even look like anything in the movie at all, even remotely. And like all the figures are yellow. I mean, like, come on, man. M60A3 is still your favorite tank. Well, like I've said before, the biggest problem I have with modern tanks is that so many of them use that 3-color NATO camouflage, and it's just kind of boring. Wooden Hetzer wouldn't go. In for the pun, Jeffrey. Hetzer's got a Hetz. Hetzer gonna Hetz. No. Jeffrey, you were here. You should have told me that, hey, why don't you pull it apart like you planned on doing that? I get sidetracked. Keeps me humble. I'll just keep making mistakes. Just hopefully I'll be able to fix the mistakes that I make. What's one toy you guys wanted as a kid and you never got it? Could be something stupid. You don't get the hate. There's Hetzer hate? I didn't know there was Hetzer hate. Okay, Summer Man, thanks for coming by, man. Come by anytime. This is what we do. You know, we just chit chat about shit. It's not necessarily even what I'm doing. You know? Hetzer was a great little thing in World of Tanks. Of course, World of Tanks is one of those things, if I knew less about it, I'd probably want to play it more. Just something to do. It's like I was playing World of Warships. I haven't played that in a while. They came out with too many stupid looking skins. Like, I don't want a freaking the Bismarck to look like a jack-o'-lantern. Like, come on, man. I don't want the Rodney looking like a leprechaun. I don't spend any real money on it. Any game that's like easy to freaking play, any game that's like that's free to play, I'll play it free. Because eventually you're going to get tired of the game, whatever it is. And like, I'm not going to throw like real money on it. You got to earn things. And if you don't earn things, like you don't appreciate them. Ooh, I'm starting to sound like an old dad. Well, it's certainly the case in the game. When I used to play World of Tanks consistently, there was Hetzer hate. I reckon they were so easy to hide in some maps. Some maps I never want to play again, like that damn Dunkelsdorf or Hundelsdorf or whatever the hell it's called, Hiddleston or whatever the hell that name of that stupid map is in Germany. With, you know, there wouldn't be any freaking vehicles in there at all. It'd be all like infantry. Hiddleston, the map. You know which one I'm talking about. Now, a map like Prokhorovka, I like Prokhorovka. I also like to say Prokhorovka. I like playing the Martyrs because they have no freaking you know, they couldn't stand up in a fight. But I tell you what, I've had a lot of fun playing a Hellcat because they're fast. Like, it's ready to go, and then you can like run and get wherever you want to get to. Instead of like playing this game of like, oh, I'm not even in position when I start encountering people. Hellcat or whatever the improved Hellcat's called. I don't remember. It's basically a Hellcat on steroids. It's basically a better looking Hellcat. I don't really think the Hellcat's very good looking. The running gear is, and it's a great vehicle, but there's something off about how it looks. I don't know what it is. I think maybe the turret's too big, which probably makes it a really good vehicle. Like, it's easy to look in there. That's one thing I was talking about a while ago. Is that one thing that makes U.S. vehicles in the Second World War so awesome is that many of them have a secondary weapon. And by a secondary weapon, I mean is they've got a 50 cal. Okay, so you're going to have a coax machine gun. You're going to have a Hull machine gun. Plus, you got a 50 cal and a pintle mount. So that's like another weapon you can use to suppress infantry when they're in some kind of hard cover that you don't have to switch your main armament from to HE to take care of. And when you think about it in that terms, it's kind of freaking awesome, you know? Because that's really what a 50 cal is for. It's like, you know, oh, it's a light vehicle. Well, let's put HE. Well, never mind. We need to keep AP because there could be a Panzer around the corner. Well, just keep the AP. Oh, it's a truck. It's a German truck. Let's shoot it up with 50 cal. Or these guys are in a wooden building. Oh, we can't hurt them with whatever. You can with a 50 cal. You know, you punch right through them. You know, like you're damaging the guys, and you know you're blowing, you're destroying the vehicle, you're destroying the building into pieces of wooden shrapnel that's causing extra damage to the guys in it. You know, the same way that, you know, if you used mortars or something like that in ASL, like, you know, you don't want to hide in woods because the woods cause more damage to you. Because, you know, you've got not only the munitions that are coming down on you, but you've got all the tree branches, etc. 50 caliber is really an awesome weapon when it comes to something like that, because it's a weapon that you get above and beyond all the other stuff you normally get. And you don't really think about that, like in a setting that's, you know, World of Tanks, or maybe something where you're playing a 1 to 5 scale game. But when you're talking about a tactical game, you know, if 50 cal is really a pretty awesome weapon. Now, the downside is you got to get crew exposed to do it. So, you know, you just can't do it all the time, you know, and not in every situation. But it really is like a pretty impressive weapon in and of itself, because it's got that punch capability. And American vehicles frequently had an AA machine gun, even though they had total air superiority. So, you know, it was being used for something other than that, you know? Like, for instance, you got the German Wilbur Whirlwinds and the half tracks that have the 420s and stuff like that. Like, those are awesome against infantry support, but you need to keep them searching the skies, because there's going to be yabos out there that you need to shoot down. You take something like an M16 half track, you know, American M16 half track that has 450 calibers. Sure, it's 450 calibers and not 420 millimeters, but you don't have to worry about yabos. You know, you're rarely going to encounter a plane that you need to shoot down at, shoot down with an American AA thing. You can use them for infantry support more readily. I don't know if that makes any sense, but you know. See if we can get in this little cranny in here. Oh, we out? Oh, come on. I think it was from having so many stockpiles of 50s, they decided to put them on all aircraft and every armored vehicle we built. Well, you know, standardizing everything helps you win a war. It's not super exciting when it comes to maybe modeling stuff, but it is extremely practical. That's how you fucking win a war, you know. Um, like, one of the things that made the Sherman really good was that the suspension, which I'm not a fan of how it looks, but it was very practical because you could take one unit out, which I guess would have been 3 or 4 units. I forget exactly how many. I think it's 3 on a side. That whole unit you could replace them all easily, you know. So, and the 50 cal fire is relatively slow, so you don't like burn through, you know, as much ammo as the Germans are burning through a lot of ammo, you know. 50 caliber is like shoots half the speed of an MG42, literally. So it's more controllable. M2 has 2 cycle settings now, slow and fast. I don't know, I'd say probably the 50 cal was a lot more useful in the Second World War than it is now. And the only reason I say that is because infantry is so much more powerful now than it was 80 years ago. I mean, there's so many things. You got a squad, and you have a light vehicle that comes. You got all kinds of different ways you could deal with it now that you wouldn't have back then. You'd have rifle grenades, regular grenades, but you got to like close assault it. And that's it, you know. One complaint about BattleTech is they made 50 caliber machine guns range ridiculously close ranged. Oh, BattleTech just has ridiculous ranges. You know, oh, it's because the Comstar has the good stuff. The Comstar stuff's not that good, you know, compared. You know, you have German World War II weapons that have better ranges than mech stuff. It's a great game. It's just, you know, it's just that. They did it for point balance. God, I love that BattleTech computer game. It is just beautiful. We've talked about that. It's a beautiful game. I hope those people make other stuff because they obviously know what the hell they're doing. There's some games you're like, I don't know how the hell these guys don't go out of business, and I hope they never make another game. Like one of the worst, I think the worst video game I've ever played, and I played a demo of it. It was this game called Watch Dogs, and it is like I couldn't even get to the point where you like 5 minutes into the game. It was that bad. The controls were that demented. The storyline was stupid. It just didn't play. Maybe you're a Watch Dogs fan. I would rather go to work and not get paid than play Watch Dogs. It was horrendous. It was almost as bad as playing that board game. What was it called? That board game that played on that mythical map of Switzerland that looked like ass. It's a Frank Chadwick game, and I like Frank Chadwick stuff. That one did not appeal to me at all. Something King. Crusader King? No. Warrior King? Something King. What a horrible fucking game. I don't know. According to the Ukrainians, 50 is still good at suppressing light anti-vehicle. The slap ammo. Slap ammo. Well, BTRs don't have that much ammo. Armor. They got what, 30 millimeters of ammo? Armor? I'm trying to think. What was it in Combined Arms? I had a copy of Combined Arms, which was the Command Decision modern one. And I got excited about getting a copy of it because I thought that they had the data for the 1950s and 60s stuff. You know, like I talked about, I'd like to play a game, you know, that was like set like at the end of Eisenhower or at the beginning of Kennedy. So, you know, 1957, 50, 58, 59, you know, where you've got the three classes of tanks, including the M103s, which are freaking badass. Right? And no, they don't have the data for that. I mean, I guess you could extrapolate it and make your own, but some of those BTRs look really cool. The BTR, what's a BTR 60 look like? The 60s, the 70s, and the 80s all look the same, right? It's the 50 that's really kind of a different animal. All right. We're going to clean this bitch out. Use our airbrush thinner. BTR-80 supposedly rated for 12.7 millimeter resistance. Rubbers have a habit to exaggerate their capabilities. They look good, though. So, like, you know, like, if I did modern stuff, I'd probably have some of those. Although if I did modern, it would totally be, you know, Imaginations in Africa. No doubt about it. I certainly wouldn't do Ukrainians and Russians because it's the same thing, you know? It is to me. So I don't think it's too soon. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, war is war. I don't want to promote any of it anyways. It's horrible. So does it really matter that the war's still going on, or it was over 80 years ago? It's still horrible. BTR 90, I don't know what that looks like. Squadritur, ERA, and coaxial. Huh. BTR 90, I have to look that thing up. What's that new tank they supposedly have? The Armada? It's ugly. That's right, I said it. Who knows if they didn't have it? I don't know. But getting back to the M60, if you do stuff in 3-color, like every tank becomes the same. Like an M60A3 in like, say 1984, looks the same as a Leopard. Looks the same as I mean, it doesn't, but I mean, the color and camouflage of something is something to consider. And I'm gonna let these guys sit out here because we ain't messing with them tonight. So tomorrow we're gonna start the session with airbrushing these things because these guys need to sit overnight. Now, this A10 that I did first, I may need to spray it again. Something's definitely wrong with the mix. Maybe I started spraying it. I didn't shake it enough. I got excited about seeing you guys. It happens. BTR 90. I'll have to look that up. Anyways, folks, thanks for coming by. That's going to wrap this almost nearly hour and a half paint session. Thanks for coming by, as always. And we will see you guys soon. Have a good evening, folks. Bye-bye.